Hello, everyone. So I first want to thank each and every one of you who is logged in right now for watching my video chat. It's going to be pretty interesting, and I hope that it touches every single one of you and that you help me take action. So feel free to also ask me questions in the video chat. So I'm looking at them right now, and I will answer them. So first, I just want to tell you a little bit about me. My name is Nicole Weider, and I was a model for quite a long time in Hollywood, and I went through a lot, and I actually posed for lingerie catalogs and for Maxim, and that also sort of led me to my journey now. And okay, I want to tell you a little bit about me. Okay, so sorry, I'm nervous. I've never done this live chat before. um, so what I'm doing is I am fighting against Cosmopolitan magazine to make the magazine sold only to adults and for not available to kids under the age of 18. Now, a lot of people don't understand just how graphic and sexually explicit the magazine really is, because a lot of people just think it's, a flirty magazine for, married people, or it's kind of for the cool downtown type of girl. But in reality, it's anything but. It's featuring hardcore graphic sex tips, and people just are unaware. And so I have a huge hurdle. What the magazine is each issue, it's all about sex. Like the primary focus is like all about sex, and people, decision makers and parents, are unaware of just how horrible the magazine is. For instance, I know I'm going to be kind of descriptive right now, and I know I'm going to shock a couple of you, but I need to share some of the tips that are mentioned in the magazine. For instance, last year they introduced the sex tip to have anal sex, and it was in the April of 2011 issue, and it says, the guy says, oh, it's the feature was about like what your boyfriend wants you to do, and a couple of the guys were like, oh, I wish my ex-girlfriend let me try anal sex. And it's like, are you serious? You're gonna mention that in a magazine that's marketed to kids of all ages? So the magazine is completely graphic, and it's featuring step-by-step instructions on how a girl can please her man or how to have oral sex properly, and it's horrible. And I started fighting against this magazine last January of 2011. And what happened was I was at just the local CVS near my house, and I was in the checkout line, and a couple of girls were like kind of whispering to each other about Cosmo, and they were pointing at each other, and I was like, I wonder what they're talking about. I was just curious. So I picked up the magazine, and one of the Twilight actresses was on the cover, and her name is Ashley Green, and she was on the cover, and the girls were like, because they picked it up because they were a fan of Twilight, obviously. And so I picked it up, and I was absolutely horrified at just how sexually explicit the magazine was. And I just knew, leaving that, I bought an issue, and I just knew that I needed to fight against it somehow, in some way. I needed to take action. And so what I did was, I didn't really know how to go about it, obviously. So I just decided to make a little video on my Facebook page, and it was just a simple little quick video I made on my Mac, and I was surprised at how the response that I was getting from people. I had people of all ages, girls and guys, telling me, oh, Nicole, like, I completely agree. Cosmo has gone off the deep end. It is all about pornography. And I was just really surprised at how much positive feedback I was getting. But obviously, I also had a lot of pushback from people saying, oh, who do you think you are fighting against Cosmo? They're the #1 selling magazine in the US, and you'll never be able to change it, blah, blah, blah. And so I had a lot of people obviously telling me I couldn't do it, and who did I think I was? But the majority of the people were really supportive and really enthusiastic about what I was trying to accomplish. So I just knew I didn't know how to go about it, but I just knew in some way I needed to take action. And so my website Project Inspired just started coming into play last year at the beginning of like February. And so I made a quick little article and I was like, girls, please help me write a letter to me explaining how sexual explicit the magazine is. Um, and so I had a lot of the girls write me personal letters about, you know, they tried sex too early, or their self-esteem was not good because they listened to the advice in Cosmo, and all of these different scenarios and all of these heartbreaking letters. And I ended up getting over 200 letters from girls who are come to my website Project Inspired, and I still have them. I have a lot of them printed out and a lot of them saved on my desktop. And it's just, it's so sad how many girls as young as 11 tell me how they were negatively affected by Cosmo, and how they tried, you know, they gave their boyfriend oral sex and they were humiliated at school, and the boy told them, called them like a hoe and a slut, and how they told their boyfriends or their friends about it. And, you know, it's just, it's so sad, like all of the stories that I got from girls. And so my husband also publishes magazines. He publishes history magazines, which is really cool. And so he kind of taught me a little bit about the magazine industry, and he told me about the different positions and who makes the decisions in a magazine. So he told me about like the editor-in-chief and the publisher and the advertising director, and so he gave me some advice about that. But one of the girls, I'm so grateful for her. She told me about this really cool website called change.org, and pretty much what it is, I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it's a website where anyone can create petitions if they want to make a change in their society, whether it's stopping ATM fees at Bank of America, um, or this woman named Sylvia Bloom started a petition against 17 magazine to make because she was fighting against their complete like use of Photoshop. So it's all different people who believe in something and who have a cause and who want to take action. So what I did was I created a petition on change.org, and my petition, it's simple. I explain what I'm fighting against, which is my goal, once again, is to make Cosmo only sold to adults. Because if Cosmo wants to tell me the magazine is for adults, then make it sold only to adults. It's simple. And so I feature a little bit about that. And at first, you know, I was really excited because I had, you know, 100 signatures, and then I had 300 signatures, and I was always posting the petition on my website and on my Facebook page, and I would just encourage all of the girls to share it on their Facebook page to spread awareness and to make it go viral. And so I told my husband, I was like, you know, who should I contact at Cosmo, or how should I go about this to tell the decision makers about what I'm doing? Like, I don't know how to get the word out, like who can make a change. And so he told me about to contact the Senator of California, Dianne Feinstein. And it's pretty sad because still to this day she has not written me back. So the Senator of California, the Federal Trade Commission, because they have the power to regulate the magazine and to make it sold only to adults. They have that power. And so I contacted the chairman of the FTC, and his name is John Leibowitz. And I also contacted all of the chairmen of all the major grocery stores, of Walmart, Target, CVS, as well as the advertisers who advertise in Cosmos, such as Oil of Olay, P&G, Johnson & Johnson. And I just want to tell you a little bit about how that went. So I wrote all of them when I had about 600 signatures, and I felt like that was enough to get their attention. I was like, oh, they're going to pay attention. I have 600 signatures. But sure enough, I got a letter back from the Federal Trade Commission, and it was like a general, just kind of a blow-off letter. It was like, dear Miss Weider, like here at the Federal Trade Commission, like we do not resolve individual complaints, but the commission can, however, act when it sees a possible violation developing. And so I knew when I got that letter, I'm like, oh, this is not just an individual complaint. This is a huge this is a huge like fight that I'm doing against the magazine. Like thousands of girls are being negatively affected by this each month because they're reading the sex tips and they're acting them out and they're performing them on their boyfriends. And so that really kind of upset me, but that made me have more determination to show them that it is not just my complaint. So I actually have all of the letters here. I have all of these letters back from the advertisers and from P&G and Walmart. And this letter actually was pretty interesting from Walmart because the sales buyer for Walmart, he really hurt himself. And I also hurt Cosmo by writing me back. So at first I was all excited. I was like, oh, Walmart sent me a letter. I can't wait to see what it is. I hope that they're in favor of what I'm doing. But sure enough, the person wrote me a blow-off letter, and it was like, Dear Mrs. Weider, here at Walmart, we cater to the needs of our customers. And they, pretty much, it was like they want to read Cosmo, and so we sell it in our checkout stands, whatever. But it's so funny because they included the Cosmo readership demographic. And in that demographic, it showed the average of the readership of Cosmopolitan magazine, and every month, 18 million total readers read the magazine, because for every issue, there's an average of 5 people who read it. Because if you think about it, you buy the issue, you bring it home on your newsstand, then maybe your husband reads it or your daughter reads it, or if you're a nail salon, you buy it, and then 15 different girls read the magazine while they're getting their nails done. And I don't know about you, but I go to a nail salon and I always see Cosmo in the nail salon. So they're saying that 18 million people read the magazine each month. And it's so funny because they said a total of 13 million people are between the ages of 18 and 48. But they forgot to mention the remaining 5 million people in Cosmo. And so Eric pointed that out. He's like, Nicole, 5 million people are unidentified. And so that either means 5 million people are over the age of 48 and they just didn't count them, or they are under the age of 18. And so obviously they are under the age of 18, but they forgot to mention their ages in the readership demographic. And so that was pretty interesting that they were so stupid enough to include that. And so I also, I decided to write, obviously, Cosmo themselves, and I made the letter out to the editor-in-chief, Kate White, and I included some of the heartbreaking personal letters from the girls. And I said, these are some of the instances of girls who are reading the magazine, and sure enough, I never heard back from any of them. I sent the letters to Frank Bennick Jr., who's the president of Hearst. I sent them to the sales director. I sent them to several people within the company, and not one person ever responded back to me, which isn't surprising. But it's so interesting because one of my very first TV interviews was on the Christian station called CBN News, and it stands for Christian Broadcasting Network. And I was on the 700 Club, and it was so cool because, listen to this, the granddaughter of the Hearst publisher, her name is Victoria Hearst, and she's within the family. She happened to watch it, and she was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy, because 10 years prior, she fought against the magazine, and it's so ironic because she's a member of the Hearst family, but even them, they ignored her, and they just brushed her off as some religious fanatic. And so she even got to the point where she had a meeting with the board of directors for Cosmo, and they completely disregarded her. They were like, oh, sorry, Victoria, like, you don't have a say in this. And they just didn't listen to her. And so when she found me, she contacted my publicist, and she was like, oh, Nicole, I want to help you in some way, and my advice is just to not contact Cosmo and Hearst directly, but to attack them from the outside in. And so that was really helpful that she told me that. And I had a meeting with her in LA about, I want to say, 3 weeks ago. So that was pretty awesome. They are. Thank you, Joan. I'm reading your comments right now. They are blinded to it. It's horrible, and I just know that God is behind me, and it's because of God that I happen to have this passion within me to fight against the magazine. So I just know it's just a matter of time before it's accomplished. I know it's going to happen. And so I'm not sure how to scroll down in these comments, Dawn. I don't know if you're able to show me how to scroll down, but I am looking at what you guys are saying in the comments. And so I got a letter back from Hearst, and it was so interesting. Oh, first I want to tell you that Donald Clark, the secretary of the FTC, after I got the blow-off letter, he wrote me back and he's like, "Dear Mrs. Weider, we have recognized your petition and we're noticing it." And so they wrote the sorry, excuse me. They wrote the Hearst magazine, and Donald Clark demanded a business practice from Kate White, and he demanded what they were doing exactly. And so they didn't write me back or Donald back for about 2 months. And so I was like, oh, Kate White is just going to ignore me and him. It's so obvious. They're just going to hope that we forget about it. But sure enough, they wrote us a letter back, and they were like, "Here at Cosmopolitan Magazine, we are proud of our long-standing tradition, which is to, cater to the needs of our customers, and we talk about relationship advice, career advice, blah, 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 blah." And it's so interesting because, of course, Cosmo has to mention at least one positive thing that they are doing. And so they said, "We've recently taken action against the against rape on the campus by having a petition against rape, like rape on campus." And it's so interesting because they only talk about this in the very end of the magazine in a tiny little paragraph, just pushed back all the way at the end. And it's like, really? You're going to talk about how you're promoting campus rape and how you're trying to prevent that, but you're only going to feature it on half a page, a little paragraph. So it's like so obvious that they're only doing that just to show the government that they're doing something positive at least. And they said, "Oh, a recent victory. We've reached 2,500 signatures on change.org. And it's so interesting because they have a petition on change.org as well as I do. And they obviously are not marketing that at all. I mean, they're only focused on hardcore sex tips. So it's so funny because I tried to find the change.org petition that they started, and sure enough, it's on their Cosmo website, like far, like hidden. You have to like click through a bunch of different things, and then you finally can see it, and it's just totally hidden. So it's pretty funny that they do that. Excuse me, let me have a sip of this. Lexi, I definitely want you guys to write the government for sure. If you go to the FTC website, it shows a section where you can contact them directly. And also my team, Susan, and I think Miriam is watching this right now. And also I can include the link on Project Inspired as well as my Facebook page, so you guys can easily access the direct link to write the FTC. And so it kind of upset me when Hearst wrote me back and they said, "Oh, we focus on relationship advice." And it's like, really? You're going to tell me that it's relationship advice? In the April issue, just 1 month ago, they tell girls, and you can look at this on my website, "Does your FWB want more?" And that stands for Friends with Benefits. And they said, listen to this. This is the advice they say to girls. They say, "Girls, if he texts you the next day, 'Had a great night, babe,' that means he's into you." It's like, really? And then it said, "Because if a guy just comes over and wants to get his rocks off, then that's normal, and a dude is too sweet if he takes your digits and texts you the next day." It's like, that's their advice for girls. Sleep with a guy, have casual sex, and hopefully he'll text you the next day. And it's like, really? This is the worst advice I have ever heard in my life. And it's so sad because girls are taking this advice to heart, and they're thinking that they should hook up with a guy right away. And also, Cosmopolitan Magazine, they always talk about the word hookups. It's like, "Oh, my ex hookup, pleased me this way, and I hope my new girlfriend will do this way." And it's featuring like 75 different freaky sex acts, like, you know, doggy style and different oral sex tips, step-by-step instructions, not just vague tips, but like how to do it exactly the way they say it. It's just, it's horrifying, honestly. And I encourage you watching right now, when you're done with this, pick up a copy so you understand just what I'm fighting against and just how graphic it is. And it's so funny because Khloe Kardashian posted on the cover last month, and they said they called it the sex issue, and it's like, really, all the magazine is about sex. So you're gonna tell people it's the sex issue? It was kind of funny, actually. So yeah, exactly, Miriam. Don't buy it. If you're at the checkout line, turn it over, and I encourage you to tell your general manager about my petition. All you have to do is go to the specific website I created just for the Cosmo petition, and it's www.anti-cosmomission.com. On the homepage, you can print out the flyer that we created, and all you have to do is just print it out and just give it to your general manager and say, you know, this magazine is pornographic. I believe it should not be sold to kids under the age of 18, because I understand that they have the right to publish what they want to publish under the First Amendment, but it's a whole other issue if they're going to market hardcore porn tips to underage girls. That actually is a crime, and that's horrible for the development of young girls. And in the January of 2012 issue, they're going to tell me that Cosmo is not targeted for young girls. Well, then why did they do a whole redesign? And in the new redesign for this year, they feature big font, bright colors, little text on a page, and they're using the terms girly. They said, in one of the issues, they said, we knew you girls were little vixens, but damn. And it shows a girl like leaned over her boyfriend, like she looks like she's barely 18. And they say little vixens. It's like, that's disgusting. You're going to call girls little vixens? And so the terminology that they're using is obviously marketed for, you know, not 25-year-olds or 30-year-olds. And yes, Jenny, they are. They're always half naked, and everyone can read the cover articles. And they're even talking about, you know, orgasm virgins and, you know, oral sex. And they're featuring like sex tips, like not sex tips, but you know what I mean, like sex words on the cover. And, you know, that's my goal, is to make it sold behind the counter or in a plastic bag, so you cannot see the cover. And John, as men, you can contribute just as much as the women can. All you have to do is please go to my website, anti-cosmomission.com, print out the flyer, and bring it to your general manager of all your stores. Just ask for the manager at CVS or Rite Aid or Target or Albertsons and tell them about my petition. Share it on your Facebook page. Share my petition on your Facebook page. Sign it. Print out the flyers. And Miriam and Susan, do you guys have any more ideas on what people can do right away to help spread the word? Because I'm realizing that big change, it takes a grassroots movement in order to happen. It's like you have to start in your community in order to, you know, create big change. So, it starts with you. And I am so proud to announce that we have had our first big victory. I am so happy. Praise God. This is amazing. Are you guys ready to hear this? So this woman, her name is Mrs. Beardsley. She obviously is a parent who felt the need to help me like strongly. And so what she did was she wrote her own letter to excuse me, the general manager and also the advertiser buyer of her local supermarket called Wegmans. I don't know if you guys have a Wegmans near you. I know it's located in the northeast section of the United States, but ironically it's located in New York as well, which is kind of cool because it's a very like liberal a liberal metropolitan state. But she contacted them, and sure enough, she was like, you know, you need to read this magazine. I urge you to. It's hardcore sex advice. And sure enough, they wrote her back and they were like, you know, dear Mrs. Beardsley, as of April 30th, all of the Wegmans stores will not sell it in the checkout lines anymore. And I wasn't sure if that was true or not, but I had my team look into it, and they contacted the top, I don't know who exactly, but they contacted the person at Wegmans, and sure enough, they no longer sell Cosmo in the checkout lines. Woo! So happy. That's amazing. They do sell it at the stores, but not in the checkout lines anymore, and that is a big deal. That is such a big deal. And so that just shows that one person can truly make a difference. And so I just urge each and every one of you, if you are watching, please, these are the steps. Sign my petition. Spread it on your, excuse me, spread it on your Facebook page. Step 2. Third, go to my website, print out the flyer, and send it to your general manager. Just walk up to him and say, we are fighting against the porn tips. Make it sold only to adults. If Cosmo is going to tell us that Cosmo is for adults, then simple. Make it sold only to adults. That's all I'm asking. I'm not asking to, you know, change the content in the magazine or whatever. Lexi, yeah, the general manager of your store near you. So Target or CVS or Albertsons, all you have to do is print it out. And also, you can go to my website, and if you type in the issues tab, it features some of the sex tips, and I know it's graphic. I know that it's kind of, you know, it's terrible to write that on there, but I needed to scan the sex tips just so you at home are aware of just how graphic it is. And Cosmo wants to say it's for adults, then why do you place Disney star Selena Gomez on the March issue of Cosmo? Listen to how sick this is. So her issue was in March 2012. Her Disney show, Wizards of Waverly Place, just ended in January. And they're going to tell me that it's for adults, then why do you place this Disney star on the cover when her show just ended? Obviously, the editors at Cosmo knew that all of her Disney fans would miss her, so they wanted to swoop up as many of them as they possibly could to grab all of her hardcore fans. And it's so sick to think about because, you know, they have to shoot the magazine a couple months prior. So they probably shot her in December while she was still filming the show. So it's like, that's disgusting. That is disgusting. The fans of I can't even say it, of her show are the ages of like 18 to 13 or something like that. So it's just really sad. And if you click on the issues tab, you'll see some of the sex tips that they mentioned in her issue. So it's pretty disgusting. Crystal, my advice is just to share the petition on Facebook. Print out the flyer, tell everyone at your school, print out the flyer. If you're still in school, I urge you to go to your principal of the school and ask if you can maybe talk about it, or if you can post it in the hallway, or in your student body president can maybe talk about it, or someone at your school who has influence. You can spread awareness that way too. Also, I'm trying to think what else. Oh, and also I had a lot of people tell me, oh, Nicole, Cosmo isn't porn. What are you talking about? And it's like, really? In the October 2011 issue, they featured Minka Kelly on the cover, and in the issue, they say, girls, the new trend is logging on and getting off. And it showed a girl with no panties on. She was literally laying on the bed, and you could see her butt with no underwear on. And it actually mentioned websites, direct websites to go to, direct URLs. It was like www.blah-blah-blah-blah-blah.com. And I was like, are you kidding me? This is porn. Like, they're mentioning porn sites to go to. And they said, girls, the new trend is to log on and get off. And, you know, guys are used to hardcore, no storyline, but girls want a story, like whatever. And it featured the websites. I'm like, how more pornographic could it really be? Like, people need to wake up, and the decision makers need to understand that this is porn. So I really thought that that was the nail in the coffin, but still, that wasn't, you know, that wasn't the, I don't know what the word is, Achilles heel. Like, we still have a long way to go. Um, Also, I'm trying to think. Oh, so it was really cool. I was featured on Fox News on the show Fox and Friends, and that was really exciting. I talked about, obviously, like what I was fighting against, and they asked me some questions, and I was really nervous because I had to do it at, it was like 6 o'clock in the morning, LA time, and they asked me some questions, and I had to look kind of like what I'm doing now. I had to look directly into the camera, and I just listened to her on my little earpiece, and there was like a delay for what she was asking me, and it was like live, and it was like pretty scary, but I did it, and you can watch the clip on my website. And also, I was featured on CNN's Showbiz Tonight, and I was so excited about that because seriously, they interviewed me for over an hour, and they also interviewed me again, like because they had the like a rebuttal comment from just some stupid Yahoo News website, and this girl just like did not know what she was talking about, and they featured like my response to that. But I'm so mad because the Showbiz clip, they only talked about a little tiny bit of what I was actually saying, and so I wasn't able to like actually state my argument, but that's okay because I have so much more ammunition for when I go on another talk show. So everyone watching, will you just please pray that I get more opportunities to speak about this in public, because that's part of the hurdle, as I have to spread awareness. Also, my goal right now is to be, when I was featured on the Fox website, listen to this, I got 10,000 signatures in one day. Crazy, right? Literally in one day, I got 10,000 more signatures. And so my team is watching right now. I really want to be on Fox News again. That would be really cool. And so we're working on that to do that. If any of you guys have any ideas on like different news channels or websites or things that you think would be really good to be on, will you please write in the comment box right now, because I'm watching this, and so is my team. So we're looking at what you have to say. So, of course, oh, they have no regard for monogamy. They don't even talk about monogamy. They don't even talk about married couples or how to spice up your married life. It's always the terms they use is hookups, my ex or girlfriend or blah, 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 blah. Because they know the readers that they're trying to target are girls who are 18 and under. So it's pretty disgusting. I'm trying to think what else. So I realized contacting the advertisers directly is not the way to go, because they totally dismissed me, and Johnson & Johnson gave me a blow-off letter. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but they just wrote me a blow-off letter, and it's so sad because I even scanned the sex tips, the anal sex tip, all of the other ones, and still that they just disregarded what I had to do. But that's why the power is in numbers, and so you watching, sign the petition, share it on your Facebook page, print out a flyer, and exactly. So, oh, Miriam, no, they don't even talk about SO. That's like a term they used back in the day. They don't do that. I honestly, Lexi, that is a good idea, but I really don't think that the modeling agencies will help, because their whole goal is to get models work, and to be featured in Cosmo would be like a big deal in the modeling world, and they already have enough to worry about by marketing their own models, and so I really have a feeling that that really wouldn't help. But if you want, I mean, it's worth a try, I guess. It's worth a try. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else. But it's really, I don't know. You obviously know I'm passionate about it, but just please pray that we have more opportunities, and Cosmo as a magazine is focused. Teen Cosmo are using this as a new. Yeah, no, honestly, Teen Cosmo is horrible, and they're featuring more and more sex tips because they understand that sex sells, but we need to, I need to focus only my efforts on Cosmo itself, because if I start trying to spread my spread my passion and like everything on other magazines, then it won't be as easy to directly focus it on Cosmo itself. But I totally understand what you're saying about 17 magazine too. And it's interesting because Cosmo used to have a magazine called Cosmo Girl, but they got rid of it a couple years ago because they realized young girls didn't want to read the watered down version. They wanted to read Cosmo itself. So now that's why they market it to underage girls as well, to grab those readers. So, oh, I love that Psalms. Thank you so much, John. Commit your way to the Lord, trust him, and he will do this. I love that. Thank you so much. That's really encouraging that you just shared that. Thank you. So does anyone else have any questions? I can't believe I've talked for 35 minutes straight. You know what, guys? It's not as easy as it seems. But just know, I'm trying. I'm trying my hardest to do everything that I possibly can. They signed. Oh, interesting. Oh, wow, Dawn, that's a huge victory. Oh, that's huge. That's amazing. And that's all because of what you guys are doing at your for your cause. So that is a big, big deal. Oh, congratulations, Dawn. That is amazing. I'm so happy. So I'm trying to think. Crystal, Miriam, and Susan, do you have a response for Crystal? All you can do is just talk about, print out the change.org petition, and it shows what is exactly the content in Cosmo. So yeah, you can, thank you, Miriam. They can pull together numbers for that for sure. Does anyone else have any questions? First of all, I just want to thank all of you for watching. I know there's a lot more people than the 17 people who are logged in, and I just really appreciate you taking the time to watch this, because obviously I really need, in order to make big change, I need people like you to help me. So thank you so much for watching. Yeah, exactly. That just, oh, exactly. That proves that teenagers read it, of course. Oh yes, please, everyone who goes to church, print out the flyer and talk to your pastor and ask if you can share it in your Bible study group, or if you can talk about it with your youth leader or whoever can spread the word at your church too. So thank you, Dawn, for mentioning it once again. So again, please sign the petition, share it on your Facebook page, click share, and print out the flyer. I'm telling you, God is on your side, and it's people like you that make change. We're change makers together. And thank you, Dawn, for doing that. So, oh no, I'm not drinking beer. If anyone asks that, no way. I'm drinking a little girly rock star. No, I never drink beer. Ew, that's so funny. Thanks, Miriam, for clearing that up. So yeah, no, don't laugh it off, Michael. It's a serious problem. Oh, I love it too, especially the pink version because it tastes like juice. It's really good. So anyway, I love you all. Thank you so much for watching. You can follow my progress on my website, Project Inspired, or if you want to just click in, go to facebook.com/Project Inspired, and just go to my website, Anti-CosmoMission.com. And if you go there right now, you can see the sex tips. You can see the cover. Oh, and they want to tell me they're not going to feature underage girls. In the February issue, guess who they chose for their Fun Fearless Female of the Year award? Dakota Fanning, who was 17 at the time. She was 17 when they printed the magazine. She wasn't even 18 when the magazine was finished. And they're going to choose her for the Young Fearless Female Award because they give that to one person every year. It's like, are you kidding me? She's not even 18, so it's just disgusting. And I don't know. And also, the ex-editor-in-chief of Cosmo, her name is Bonnie Fuller, she wrote an article on Huffington Post, and she said, oh, she goes, I don't understand why people have their knickers in and not arguing against Dakota Fanning on the cover, because we, as an ex-editor-in-chief, I'm fully aware that millions of 17-year-olds read the magazine each month with no incident. It's like, are you kidding me? She just admitted that she's aware that underage girls read it, but she thinks it's with no incident. It's like, that's obviously she's either completely unaware of the negative effects that's happening, or she just doesn't care. And I'm guessing it's she doesn't care. And also, one of the issues, Kate White's in her editor's letter, she wrote, "Girls, be careful what you text, tweet, or blog, because you have no idea where the information will end up." And if you flipped a couple pages, she featured a model wearing only lingerie, like sheer lingerie, laying down, and she was taking pictures of herself with her cell phone, implying that she was about to send a sext to her boyfriend or her hookup. And it featured her like taking pictures of her cell phone in like 3 different pictures. So I also have that layout on my website. You can check that out. But Kate White, I'm sorry to say, but she is a total hypocrite. She either doesn't read her own magazine, or she's just completely unaware. She doesn't care. But I thought that was really ironic that she mentioned that in her own magazine. So they're featuring sexting tips, they're featuring anal sex, doggy style, reverse cowgirl, all these disgusting positions that girls don't even need to know about. So just please help me, and we can do this. I know we can do this. It's just persistence is key, and we are facing a huge hurdle. It's like David and Goliath. We just have to think about, just the power is in numbers. So right now I'm at like, as of right now, I'm at 32,456 signatures, but I just pray that you help me do that. Yeah, Dancing with the Stars. Yeah, but honestly, Joan, I really need to only focus on one thing right now, because if I start dividing my efforts and asking other people to divide their efforts, it won't be as strong focused on one thing. Do you know what I mean? Um, so that's what I was talking about. But okay, anyway, so I think that's all. I can't believe I've been talking for 41 minutes straight. That's crazy. And yes, thank you, Miriam. We will write an article about it. That's a good idea. So anyway, I am going to save this chat. So Dawn, you can, I don't know, save this in your archives or however you want to do that. So I am signing off now. I hope you all have a wonderful Tuesday. Thank you again for watching, and God bless. Bye.